So in the previous video, I had covered embedded phonics, that is, whenever the child is reading a text and if the child is stuck up in a word, then only the basics or the instructions of phonics are given to the child, and that is how the children learn the words and they do the rote learning. So embedded phonics is somewhat similar to that of your analytical phonics. But there is one more phonics that we are going to talk about today, that is analogy phonics. So what is analogy phonics? That is what we are going to learn today. But before I start, do watch the video till the end. And before I start what is analogy phonics, you need to do a very important task, that is, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon also. So this is Shweta Gupta, your trainer, your mentor, and I welcome you to my channel Twinkling Phonics. Let's begin. So what is analogy phonics actually? Synthetic phonics, which is based on the sounds, blending, multisensory activities, and embedded phonics, which is based on actually as and when needed. As and when you are stuck up in a word, you will be given the phonic instructions. But what is analogy phonics? Let us see. It relies on recognizing the word patterns. Now, what is a word pattern? Word ending with ant, words ending with n, words ending with nt, words ending with app, and then so on, or maybe starting also. So they depend highly on the word patterns, okay? And using the familiar word parts such as a word family or the rhymes. So we had already done a skill in phonological awareness that we call onset and rime. So whenever a certain type of phonic instruction is dependent upon the rhymes, that is the rhyming patterns, the word families, then we call that instruction as the analogy phonics. So by identifying the similarities between the known words, now a child may know or the person may know a word, and recognizing a word which has the same family or the same pattern or the same onset or the rhyme becomes slightly easy. So half work is already done by recognizing the rhyme and the onset. So that is why, keeping that point of view in the mind, we begin with the word families. So the unknown words, students can apply their knowledge of phonics to read and understand the new words. But this is not the end of the world. What happens is, whenever the child is reading a word or understanding or interpreting or thinking about a word which ends with a certain word, might be the child ends up in a wrong word or a wrong understanding of the word. So yes, this might give you a word power, a good vocabulary, or the child may learn few words, but it is quite possible, the possibility is higher where the child may end up in a confusion, because always all the words are following the word patterns? Not at all possible. So let us see what are the pros and cons of analogy phonics and how it is done, and what are the various ways in which you can perform analogy phonics. So let us see further. Now, so here are 5 examples of analogy phonics. Number 1, word family analogy. That is what I discussed, like mat, sat, rat, cat, fat, hat. So here at is the word family that we are recognizing here. So word family analogy is the first way in which analogy phonics is performed. Similarly, consonant substitution and analogy. Now consonant substitution means you have a word bat and the child is expected to remove the consonant b and keep the other consonant here. That is bat, mat. So the first consonant or the ending consonant needs to be substituted with some other consonant, and that is how it is performed. So the second analogy phonics is the consonant analogy phonics. Similarly, vowel substitution analogy. Now vowel substitution analogy means, if I am teaching a word like this, so here I am not substituting the consonant here, but here I am substituting the vowel here, that replace a with some other vowel like e. So what is the word? R, e. writ. So once we are performing synthetic phonics, there comes a point where the child gets confused with the vowels, with the short vowels and with the long vowels. That is why at that point of time we perform analogy phonics with the children also, so that they may learn and they may understand how the vowels come in between the words and how the vowels actually change the whole sound, direction and the timing of that particular word. So in a nutshell, we can say that the analogy phonics can also be embedded together with the synthetic phonics. There could be a step where in doing the synthetic phonics, you may follow the analogy phonics also. Similarly, the rime phonics, onset and rime. Rime is the last part of the word that is left after leaving your consonants, the first few consonants or the consonants that are there in the front part of the word. If you leave it and whatever is left, that is what is known as a rime. So if a student knows the word hat, they use analogy to write the word math. So they may do it, right? That means if the child may understand rime, the child may understand many other words also. Similarly, we have one more analogy. This is sight word analogy. Now, what is sight word analogy? If any sight word is saying my, the other may say buy, the other one may say cry. If the first one is saying to, the other one may say do. Similarly, he, she, me. So what happens here is, once we know the sight words, when the child knows the sight words, the child may apply the knowledge of the sounds given out by that sight word in some other sight word also, and that is what is known as sight word analogy. So how many types of analogies you can prepare? How many types of analogies can you teach your child? The first one is word family substitution. Second one is consonant substitution. Third one is the vowel substitution. Fourth one is the rime analogy. And the fifth one is the sight word analogy. So let us proceed further and see what I have further for you. So here are the 5 examples of the analogy phonics. Number 1, the word sing can be used to teach the word ring. Right? So this you can say as the word family also. This you can say as a consonant substitution also. Next example, the word hat can be used to teach the word mat. Same thing. The word big can be used to teach the word pig. That means you can use the words like hat, bat, pig, mig and all these words so as to teach your children with the help of the analogy phonics also. So in one way or the other, in teaching the synthetic phonics to the children, there comes a point where we need to teach the analogy phonics to the children also. So what are the benefits of using analogy phonics? The benefits are, it can help the students learn to read more fluent. It can help the students develop better understanding of the English language. So they will be understanding more. As compared to that of the embedded phonics, analogy phonics is one step further and is very near to that of your analytical phonics. Similarly, it can help the students become more independent readers. Definitely, if the child is able to read the words, if the child is able to analyze, if the child is able to find out the analogy in the certain words, definitely the child will be the independent reader. If you have understood that what point I wanted to deliver, please like, subscribe and share. So there is one question for you also, and you need to write it in the comment box also. If you are teaching the word families to the children, what sort of phonics you are teaching to the child? Is it embedded phonics? Is it synthetic phonics? Or is it analogy phonics? I will be waiting for your answer. Bye-bye.